Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to PBTV. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. Happy Friday, and we thought we'd bring out a very special treat. Brand spanking new, just hit the website, is the Cybergun CANiK TP9. So we're going to have a little bit of a deep dive into this. I'm absolutely in awe of this thing. Absolutely love it. I love the aesthetic. I love how it grips, its comfort, just everything about it is just, it's ticking all the boxes. So hopefully we can go through it and it ticks the boxes for you. If there's any questions about this, please drop them down below. We'll try and get to your questions as quickly as we can, flash them up on screen and answer them. But if not, I'll go from the front, work my way back and cover as much as possible with it, because there are some features on this that are a little bit strange and may get resolved later down the line. But apart from that, it is an incredible bit of kit that is going to be very, very useful on your hip, or even just using this as a primary will be absolutely awesome. So, as you can see, there is a thread cover on the front. Undoing that, you will find a 40mm counterclockwise thread. It is not an adapter. The actual barrel itself is threaded, so you can't remove it or anything like that. If you're going to not have an adapter, or if you're not going to have a device on the front, like a tracer unit or anything, please make sure you leave the thread cover on there, because if you do knock or bang them, it can make it very, very difficult to get a trace unit on afterwards. But the actual look of it as it is pretty cool. Quite like the hex cut that they've done on there, and this thing with like a Spitfire on it. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially in CQB. Be aware with pistols and things like that, if you're putting something on the front of it, make sure it's not too heavy, like a full metal big thing, because if you add too much weight to the barrel, it will pull it down and you're not going to get as many shots out of the mag. Go lightweight, go for a plastic front end, or even the Spitfire's not too heavy and quite short as well. That means you're not going to put too much weight on that barrel, and you're still going to get a full magazine of rounds out of it. Coming back, I have obviously fitted one of the Watson X400s on here, just showing the 20mm rail. Again, you could fit anything you want on there. One of the lads in the office just turned around and instantly said one of the Vade strobe torches, it would fit perfectly at the front there. The cut-off would be right, and it would just fill that space. Absolutely awesome. So that would be a really, really cool option. And again, you've got the strobe function on that. This one, you've got the white light and the laser. So again, CQB, coming around a corner and you need to snap shoot. The laser's really, really good for that, and you've got all the options. Amber's Hangout. Does it have a particular holster requirement, or can it fit in most non-specific holsters? If you have a universal holster, it will most likely fit in there. We've all looked at this and seen different platforms in it, so it seems to be almost a hybrid of every pistol out there. There's sort of M&P looks, there's XDM, there's Glock vibes, there's CZ vibes in it. There's absolutely everything molded together into what is a single entity. It's weird to look at because you keep catching different things that look familiar, but then as an overall thing, it's very, very unique. Shape-wise, very much EU style. We've not gone through all the holsters yet, but if you've got a universal holster, this will drop straight in it, absolutely. If not, potentially something like an EU holster, or sort of like an XCM or an M&P style holster will go with this. Just be aware, the trigger guard is absolutely massive. They've designed it so that it can be used in gloves, cold weather. They've tried to factor in absolutely everything into this, so it'll work all year round. And it is obviously fully licensed, so they've gone as accurate as is humanly possible when it comes to airsoft. So we cut the 20mm rail, so again, you can fit whatever you want there. The slide itself obviously has like shavings and cuttings in there. We've got serrations at the front and serrations at the back, just so it's easier to rack that first round in. They are quite deep, so you can easily rack this back and get that first round in there. And again, this thing cycles really, really nice, really, really fast. One thing that we have noticed as well, the trigger pull on this, or the trigger sort of release, is very, very strange. It might take some getting used to. It's exceptionally light trigger fall. Not the actual pull, the actual trigger drop itself. If you're not listening, it's quite hard to actually hear it, especially if you're sort of dry firing it, if you've not got a mag in there. You do have an indicator at the back of the slide, so you can tell whether or not this thing's cocked. There's a little red pin that comes out, making it nice and easy. Couple of markings that we have on it. We've got the TP9 on the slide. We've got the SAI, the salient markings on the barrel, and then we've got another salient marking and 9mm on the top. We also have the CANiK markings on the left-hand side. So fully marked up, looks absolutely stunning, and we do have a cutout at the back. So this is one of the things that we needed to cover. So we've obviously taken this off to see if we can fit any of the optics we have here. Unfortunately, we can't. So when you take this off, there is then a ridge that goes down the bottom, and we believe that down the line, they are going to release a plate that goes on here. Currently, you can't fit a dot sight to this yet. We have been told that it's coming soon, so you'll have to take this off, put the correct plate on, depending if you're in an RMR, Frenzy, or anything like that, and then you'll be able to fit a dot sight. So it's not the end of the world yet. It's not a dead no. It's just they are coming later. Tom James, sorry I missed the gas usage. Can you easily get at least one mag out of this capacity-wise? Yes, so when I've tested this on Ultra Rare and V12, and you are getting the 22 rounds out of it. So they are 22-round magazines. They do look quite diddy, but you can get 22 rounds in here. And on the Ultra Rare, I did get a full mag out of this. Again, it's getting quite warm, so it is a lot easier to do now, but I do believe that there was a few extra shots left afterwards, so I do believe that most of the year you're going to get a full mag of BBs out of this. Again, when it gets to winter, I'd probably short load it, maybe only put 15 in it, rather than the full 22, so you are getting that slide lock rather than going dry and firing a couple of sort of gas volumes at people. They are proprietary mags, so they are CANiK mags. I don't think there's any other mag that will fit this, but we do have the magazines available separately, so don't worry if you're wanting spare mags, you can get hold of them. A couple of other features on the slide. Obviously, we do have the fibre front sight and the standard sort of castellated rear sight. Just be aware is down the line when they do release the plate for the RMR cut or the Frenzy or whatever they're going to do at the back, when you take this off, it does remove the rear sights. So again, if you're running a dot sight, you're not going to have any backup sights apart from the fibre at the front. It's not the end of the world. It's not a problem. You're just going to have to adjust how you sort of aim it and how you do your skills and drills with it. As in for controls, it is a mostly ambidextrous platform. I've not yet checked whether or not the mag release is swappable. I do believe it is, but the slide lock is on both sides and the mag release looks like it is swappable. The trigger itself, a lot of people will be used to sort of the safety style triggers where you have to press the center of it. The center part of this is absolutely huge. It's the biggest sort of safety patch we've seen in a trigger for pretty much ever. Normally it's a little sliver in the middle, but this, it's almost the entire trigger with the sides being sort of cut away. As you can see, it is quite a flat vertical trigger, so your follow-up shots, and it's almost like a pre-installed speed trigger. It is a genuine pleasure to shoot this thing. Coming down to the grip, you can see it's quite a short grip. Grabbing this, my finger sort of wraps around the flared magwell. Paul Eastwood, is there CO2 mags available? Not as far as we're aware. We believe it is green gas only. Normally, if CO2 is an option, they will put warnings or advice in the box. We've not seen that, so this is a green gas only pistol. So the flared magwell, again, my little finger sort of just sits neatly on there, so it does feel like a very, very short pistol grip. I find it quite comfortable. I do have quite big hands, but I find this quite comfortable. There's other people that have said that it feels a bit weird being able to sort of rest on the flared magwell. Again, it's a preference thing. I quite find it quite comfortable, and it does feel really, really good. All the cutouts are in the right place. Indexing's really nice. You've got a couple of points left and right with grip points, so you can index on both sides. And again, that flared magwell does allow you to get the mag back in very, very quick and very, very easily. Obviously, going back to the magazine, we do have the not quite extended base plate, but we do have the extended sort of, it's more like a bump pad rather than actually an extended base plate. You don't have to take this off to fill this with gas, which is always a bonus. Some magazines you've got to sort of do all sorts of bits and bats, get the gas in there, and you're good to go. We do also have a wide set BB track, so you don't have to pull the spring all the way to the bottom. The actual wide bit is very, very close to the top, so you only have to get it a little bit down to be able to fill BBs in here. So this is obviously the dual tone one, the black and tan. So I've thrown the torch on here because, again, it was just a show and it looks very, very cool. It is not the only one that is available. We also have the all black one, very sleek, very stealthy, the classic look, as they say. Again, very, very neat, very, very tidy. And again, we've got that sort of red center of the trigger, which is a really cool little accent. Again, another standard is the tan version. So again, you can see that some parts of it are still black. Same with the dual tone. All they've swapped over is the actual slide itself. So anyone join us, I will just quickly go through a few of the features. Again, we'll use the tan one this time, just so we can look at a different one. So we do have a 40mm counterclockwise thread on the front of it. It is not removable. It is the actual barrel itself that's threaded. So if you're not using any a tracer unit or any device on the front, please keep the thread adapter on there. Otherwise, you're going to possibly damage your threads. Do you know if there will be a big stick or a drum mag for this? I don't believe there will, purely because it's a Cybergun licensed item, and normally what they do is they do the platform and the mag. They usually don't do extra bits, so if it is proprietary mags, I very much doubt they're going to do extended or drum mags. Unfortunate, but it's just the way that certain companies run, unless there will be an aftermarket company that might make them. But I would probably bet on it that there won't be extended or drum mags for this one, unfortunately. So the 40mm thread on the front, we do have the serrations on the front and the back of the slide, making it very, very easy to rack that first round in. Fibre front and standard rear sights. As I said earlier, it does look like it's optic ready. It is optic ready, but not yet. So if you do remove this, you'll see it takes this whole back end off, and then you can't actually fit a sight onto this because there's a sort of structural ridge down the center, which means it's not actually a flat plate. Looking at the information and stuff that we got with these, we believe that the plates are coming soon. So down the line, you will be able to fit a sort of specific plate onto this. Take this off, stick the RMR plate or the docked plate on there, and then you will be able to fit optics. So currently not doable, but it will be doable in the very soon future. Very cool markings on it. So we've got the TP9 marking, we've got the CANiK marking, and we've got a couple of salient markings on here too. The red safety part of the trigger, so it is you have to be pressing the red part of the trigger for this thing to operate properly. There's no other safety feature on it. It is just the standard trigger safety like what you get with EUs and everything like that. Controls, the slide lock and slide release are on both sides. This big long bar here matches on the other side. The little black square that you can see here, that is the bit that you pull down, you rack it back, pull that down, and that's how you get your slide off. Again, it does have a gear style hop, so if you wanted to get to the hop system, take the slide off, a little adjustment, throw it back on. What's been really, really good with this is you don't have to pull that back down when you're putting the slide back on. It is chamfered and it's been made in a sort of one-way system. So once you've taken it off, you just rack it back and the slide will just go on and lock in place, making it much, much easier than some other systems out there. Flared magwell, again, as I was saying earlier, it does make it very, very comfortable for myself. My little finger just rests nicely on that flared magwell. Tom James, do you know if parts from other rifts external will be compatible with this? We've not done a deep dive internally on this yet, but with it being Cybergun, I do believe that like hop systems, barrels, and everything like that will be sort of cross-compatible with other platforms. Probably the nozzles and things like that, so parts will be readily available, definitely. Internally, you've got a 6.08mm diameter in a barrel, and I think it's about 97mm in length. So if you are going to add a device on the end of this, you want a sort of extend that in a barrel, or maybe put a maple leaf or something a bit tighter in there. That is also doable. Be aware that when we first got these a couple of days ago, it was very, very cold in here, and we did it, and it was about 290 FPS. Today, it's warmed up massively outside, so we retested them, and on ASG Ultra Rare, these are coming at about 310, 315 FPS. And what I will say, it was absolutely incredibly consistent. I think there was 5 or 6 rounds down before it started to drop off, like more than what you'd expect. You usually expect a 2-3 FPS drop between shots. It took about 5 shots for the mag to start cooling down and be a sort of noticeable decrease in FPS. So very, very big positive there. Ambers Hangout, do you know if the cocking indicator has the same issues found on other rifts, such as the strike? Obviously, these are brand new, so we've not heard or seen any dramas with them. And normally, them issues are caused by the sort of cocking indicator being sort of massive, sort of being a very, very long bar. These are very, very short indicators, so it doesn't move that far. All it's doing is putting a little red dot in that hole there. So the issue normally with them is where they have to move quite a sizable distance to be able to be visible. These don't move that far, so there's not that much mechanical effort being put into making that system work. So I can't see that being a problem, to be honest. So a couple of other ones. Obviously, we have the flared mag wall to make it much, much easier to get the magazines back in once this thing is empty. And it is what we believe is a proprietary style magazine. We've not seen anything similar to these that we'd want to sort of throw in this. So if you want any spare mags, the CANiK TP9 mags are available as spares. 22 rounds each. So again, if you're using this as a sidearm or a primary, you're going to have plenty of rounds in it. As I was saying before, even in this weather that's sort of chopping and changing between hot and cold, we're getting plenty of rounds out of mag. We're getting full 20 plus shots out of it. Again, when it starts getting into winter and green gas becomes a little bit less useful, I just short load them, maybe between sort of 15 rounds, and you're still probably going to be able to get a full mag out of it. Again, the consistency in FPS that we've had out of these just is a sort of a testament to how it's going to work when it gets colder. If it's not massively dropping off and the mags aren't cooling down at a rapid rate, it means that they're going to work a little bit more efficiently in cold weather as well. Not that you're going to get the same FPS as in the summer out. There is going to be a much lower FPS, but that cool down isn't going to sort of kick in as quickly. But yeah, very, very excited for these. Hopefully we'll start seeing these out in the field soon. So this is the Cybergun CANiK TP9 with salient bits on it, fully licensed by Cybergun. It is a very, very pretty gun. Very, very excited to get my hands on it. Very much enjoyed it being plinked on the range earlier. Super impressed with it. It's I do believe it's going to probably end up being one of them sort of Marmite platforms. You're either going to love it or it's not going to be your cup of tea. And again, mostly from a visual point of view, because functionality, these things are very, very, very good. Once people get their hands on them, they'll understand what I mean. They've the TP9 has been very, very well thought out when it comes to grip, hand position, shooter configuration, all sorts of little bits. The threaded barrel out of the box is amazing. I feel it's a little bit better than having the adapter, because usually when you've got the adapter, you screw a bit on and then it starts unscrewing. Whereas this being a fixed thread on there, you can definitely do some cool builds with this. Again, I only threw the torch on there just to show it looks very, very cool, but any of the Vade systems or a Spitfire on the front of this, and then in the future when the RMR and the dot sight plates come out, these things are going to look absolutely stunning. But hope you've enjoyed that. It's been a good week for pistols this week. Very much enjoyed looking at all the different ones, and then ending with the CANiK that is now here. And hopefully, if you want to grab one, grab it now. We've got them in the dual tone, in the black, and in the tan variant. So every single option is available, and mags. So we are away this weekend. It is Proving Grounds, so if you haven't booked on or you want to come to one of our events, it is on Sunday. It's in Selby, near York, and we do have maybe a very, very good giveaway. If you want to check the Facebook, that is the best way to find things like that out. If not, we'll be back on Monday with another product showcase. If there's anything you want us to cover, please drop us a message on Instagram. We'll throw it to the top of the list. But if that's everything, if you are enjoying this content and you love what we do and you want to join us every day, please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that bell and you'll get notified every time we go live or every time we post a video. But if that's everything, I'll catch you after the weekend. Hope you have a good time. In a bit. Bye.